Last week, the finance minister announced his medium-term budget speech. No surprises there what happened. And in this episode, we're talking about how the medium-term budget speech affects the average South African. Hi, my name is Yolanda. I am a wealth advisor. I'm the founder of Financially Fabulous Females and the director of Solomon Wealth Management. It is my goal on this platform to give you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to manage money well, to live abundantly, and build generational wealth. So today we're unpacking the budget speech. We're taking away all the jargon, just giving you the highlights and what it means for you and the things that you can do to try and keep yourself financially safe, not let the macro politics interfere with your life plan. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana on the 1st of November released the medium-term budget policy statement, and one of the key highlights there was that government is committed to stabilizing public finances while maintaining support for the most vulnerable and protecting the frontline services that many South Africans are dependent on. Spending has been revised due to the fact that tax collections were lower. All right, the main thing that was lower was the tax that was collected on the corporate side. Businesses are struggling, and a lot of businesses are taking their profits and investing in their energy security. All right, so obviously this reduces their taxable income. And another thing that kind of offset the taxes was the VAT repayments. There was a larger than expected VAT repayments that needed to be done, and that, of course, destabilized that tax collection. Now, a personal income tax was higher, expected to be higher, mainly because a lot of people got hefty increases due to high inflation, and that's a natural inflationary occurrence of higher income tax. But it is worrying. The corporate taxes being down, it's definitely worrying. If businesses are not doing well, they're not hiring, they're not expanding, people are not buying products and services. So, I mean, we should really be worried. And what they are saying, they are expected to propose some tax measures next year to raise the additional tax revenue. And another reason for taxes not falling short this year was commodity prices. Now, we are a commodity-linked economy. We're highly linked to the mines, and commodity prices are down. Another thing that's linked to commodities is Transnet. Transnet doesn't have the capacity to take all of the minerals that the country produces and export it. All right, the infrastructure is just not there. It's deteriorating, not being maintained, not being expanded quick enough, and that is affecting tax collection, and eventually it's affecting us as well. So we got to connect the dots when we hear these conversations. All right, if Transnet is in trouble because we don't use the trains, it doesn't mean it doesn't affect us. It affects us. It's coming around full circle. Most likely going to come back to bite us in the ass in a couple of years' time. Now, Treasury's plan to stabilize these public finances rests on three main pillars. Right? Firstly, they're looking at significant spending restraints, so they want to be spending less. They're looking at moderate tax hikes. And that's a pain because they can only tax you and I. And how much more do we have to give? I mean, we're overtaxed. And they plan on doing quite a lot more borrowing. Right, so next year we can hear more details to come as to what is it they're going to actually do to try and raise more funds. And what we should be doing right now is realize, especially if you are somebody in the government sector, you're employed there, they're going to be reining in spending. Okay, there's this freeze on certain employment. So if you are hoping to get a job in the public sector, you might just want to think again and focus on the private sector. They also want to rein in that wage bill as well. I'm not sure how they're going to do it because they set a limit of around 3% and caved to 7.5% that was demanded earlier this year by the public servants. Our thing, I think, as the average South African, what we need to be concerned about is the moderate tax hikes. How is it going to be done? Is it going to be on these various ancillary taxes like like the fuel levy and things like that. Or even worse, it could be a VAT hike. I was chatting to an economist on TikTok, and he says South Africa still has some space to play around there, and it could raise a lot of money. But what it does do for the average South African is it makes life very expensive because we're paying tax on everything we buy. Everything we buy that's VAT rated will be more expensive. Okay, so that's the risk that we take by increasing the VAT. So you should be looking right now to be shielding your income from taxes. If they do choose to increase the tax rates, I mean, there will be inflationary um, expansion of those tax brackets next year. But you need to be wise about how you're spending. Put up some tax shields on your salaries. And yeah, brace yourself because we're going to be taking a big tax hit in the next couple of years because it doesn't look like there's a plan. And more especially, it doesn't look like there's a plan with Eskom. And that's one of the biggest drivers of us not growing, unfortunately, as a country. So that's my bit on the impact of the medium-term budget speech on the average South African. I'll talk to you next week.